Chosen one, let your mind go completely still. If this message is resonating in your spirit right now, it is not by chance. Heaven has deliberately bypassed the noise of the matrix to serve your spiritual eviction notice. The universe has watched you build a mental fortress of hyper-independence, acting as the emotional and financial shock absorber for a bloodline that only drains your light. In your mind, you are carrying a backpack filled with everyone else's rocks, secretly suffocating while broadcasting on a royal frequency trapped in a room full of static. You are exhausted from being the strong one. But the Creator is officially retiring your title today. He is dispatching a wealthy soulmate, not for a fairy tale romance, but as a divine extraction vehicle. Their immense resources are the exact tool required to elevate your spirit and relocate you from the trenches. Subscribe to align with the awakened collective. Hit like to mentally lay down your heavy armor, and comment, "I receive my extraction," to lock in this new frequency. Do not look away, because the shocking truth about why God had to make them wealthy will shatter every limiting belief you hold about your destiny. I need you to stay with me until the very end of this transmission. Do not click away, because what we are about to unpack is a matter of absolute spiritual survival. By the end of this message, I am going to give you the exact 3-step geographic severance protocol to safely navigate this massive transition. I will reveal the hidden frequency science that proves exactly why your brain has been blocking financial and relational blessings, and I will lead you through a powerful, one-of-a-kind activation ceremony to seal this divine relocation permanently into your reality. If you leave early, you will only have the promise, but you will completely miss the blueprint required to actually sustain it. Right now, you might be asking yourself why God is sending someone with massive earthly resources instead of just a kind heart to keep you company. To understand the cure, you must first confront the absolute brutal reality of your disease. And I am not talking about a physical illness. I am talking about the invisible bleeding of your soul. Feel that familiar, heavy ache right at the base of your neck. That is not just poor posture. That is the accumulated somatic weight of holding up the sky for people who would not even hold an umbrella for you in the rain. Let your mind travel to that specific moment. Maybe it was just last night. You are sitting in the driver's seat of your parked car, the engine is off, and you are staring at the steering wheel for 10 straight minutes before going inside. You are sitting there in the quiet isolation of that vehicle, taking deep, shaky breaths, desperately trying to switch your mask from completely exhausted to "I have got everything under control." You hesitate to turn the handle of your own front door because you know that the exact second you cross that threshold, someone is going to need something from you. Advice, money, emotional regulation. You are the paramedic for your entire family system, but when you are bleeding, you quietly drive yourself to the hospital so you do not inconvenience anyone. There is a raw, unfiltered voice echoing in your mind right now, a voice you suppress out of guilt. It screams, "Why does it always have to be me? Why do I have to be the responsible one while everyone else gets a free pass to make mistakes?" You have 500 contacts in your phone, but when your world is collapsing at 3 in the morning, you scroll through that list and realize there is absolutely no one you can call who will just listen without making it about their own problems. This is the agonizing paradox of your strength. You save everyone, but nobody saves you. You thought your exhaustion was just because you were working too hard or managing too many tasks. But the Spirit is revealing the truth right now. Your exhaustion comes from being the sole emotional and financial pillar for a toxic ecosystem that relies entirely on your survival mode to sustain their comfort. This is exactly why your current state is not sustainable, and heaven knows it. In the book of Matthew, chapter 11, verse 28, Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me." People read that verse every Sunday, but they completely miss the mechanical reality of what is being offered because they do not understand the original Greek text. The word used for yoke in the original language is zygos. A zygos was a specific, heavy wooden beam designed to join two animals together, usually an older, stronger ox with a younger, weaker one, so they could pull a massive load across a field. A yoke is never meant for one, it is a tool of shared burden. When you hear that verse in English, it sounds like a nice poetic invitation to just relax. But the Greek word zygos reveals a profound structural shift. God is not telling you to drop your responsibilities and quit your life. He is saying, you have been pulling the cart of your family, your finances, and your future entirely by yourself, wearing a zygos meant for two. No wonder your neck is breaking. No wonder your spirit is crushed. God is sending this soulmate to step into the other side of that zygos. They are being dispatched with the exact financial weight and spiritual maturity required to balance your load. The wealth they bring is not about luxury cars or mansions. It is the earthly mechanism God is using to buy back your peace, to pay off the debts of your past, and to afford the physical relocation your spirit desperately needs to heal. So the mystery of why they must be wealthy is starting to make sense. But there is a deeper, much darker layer to this. You think this exhaustion is simply because you took on too much? No. There is a psychological shadow hiding deep within your mind that is secretly repelling the very help you pray for. And the raw, unfiltered truth about why you are actually terrified of someone else paying your bills will send shivers down your spine. Let us look directly into that shadow right now. You pray for financial breakthrough constantly. You ask God to remove the burden of survival from your shoulders. Yet, the very thought of someone else stepping into your life with massive resources and saying, "I will take care of you," triggers a massive alarm in your nervous system. Why do you crave the provision but absolutely panic at the thought of a provider? Listen to the raw, unfiltered voice echoing in your mind right now. It is a loud, defensive, highly guarded voice. It says, "I do not need anyone. I can pay my own way. I would rather struggle and work 3 jobs than owe somebody my life. I will never let anyone hold anything over my head again." Where does that fierce, almost aggressive independence come from? It does not come from your divine nature, chosen one. It comes from your trauma. Let us go back to the root. In your past, provision always had a hidden price tag. Gifts were never just gifts. They were invisible chains. They were contracts written in manipulation. The people who gave to you, the ones who were supposed to protect and nurture you, used their resources as leverage to control your identity. Hear that toxic echo from your history right now. I put a roof over your head, so you have to do what I say. I gave you this money, so you owe me your obedience. After everything I have done for you, this is how you repay me. You learned at a very young, very vulnerable age that dependency equals extreme danger. You learned that when you rely on someone, they own you. So you made a silent vow in your soul. You built an absolute, impenetrable fortress of hyper-independence. You decided that if you make your own money, if you fix your own problems, if you are always the one picking up the check at the dinner table, no one can ever buy your compliance. No one can ever turn you into a puppet. You are not scared of wealth, chosen one. You are terrified of control. You are terrified of losing your autonomy. You push away genuine help because your brain cannot tell the difference between a divine gift and a demonic trap. You have become so fiercely independent that you are currently starving your own soul just to prove you can survive without being fed by anyone else. I need you to perform a specific mental action right now. I do not want you to move a single muscle, just use the power of your inner vision. In your mind, look at that massive, heavy iron armor of independence you wear every single day. See the dents and the scratches on it from years of fighting alone. Now, mentally reach up and unbuckle it. Let that heavy iron drop to the floor of your mind. Feel the rush of air on your skin. Comment, "I release the fear of receiving" to signal to your spirit that it is finally safe to lower your shield. Your trauma response kept you safe in the matrix, but it is currently blocking your divine compensation. You have to let it go. But this opens a massive question. If God knows you are terrified of being controlled by money, why is he intentionally sending a soulmate with so much of it? What is this wealthy counterpart actually coming to do? Naturally, your weary mind starts to paint a beautiful, romantic picture. You have cried so many tears in secret. You have fought so many brutal battles entirely alone. So it makes perfect sense that heaven is sending a white knight to your rescue. You are starting to imagine the ultimate fairy tale. You picture this person walking into your life, seeing how exhausted you are, wiping the tears from your face, and whispering, "You never have to worry about another bill for the rest of your life." You imagine a life of absolute, uninterrupted ease. You picture a beautiful, quiet home where your only responsibility is to finally rest and heal your shattered nervous system. You see them wrapping their arms around you after a long day of you fighting the world, shielding you completely from the harsh, demanding realities of society. You imagine romantic getaways, profound peace, tranquility, and a soft life where your only job is to simply exist and be endlessly loved. It sounds so beautiful, does it not? It sounds like the perfect, ultimate reward for everything you have endured. It sounds like the happily ever after that every weary warrior secretly dreams of. After a lifetime of being the strong one, you just want to be the protected one. You are beginning to believe that this person is being sent simply to dry your tears and offer you a fairy tale existence, shielded from the world. But brace your spirit, because the actual purpose behind the massive wealth this person carries is fierce, ruthless, and far more critical to your survival than you could ever possibly imagine. You have spent decades being the primary architect of everyone else's survival. You have built sturdy houses for people who would not even offer you a broken umbrella in a thunderstorm. So naturally, when you hear the prophetic confirmation that a highly resourced, wealthy soulmate is entering your timeline, your exhausted, overburdened mind immediately begins to construct a sanctuary. You start to picture a life where you never have to check your bank account before buying groceries ever again. You imagine waking up in a sunlit room, wrapped in the highest quality linens, listening to the quiet, peaceful hum of a secure home, knowing with absolute certainty that the person sleeping next to you has completely handled the heavy lifting of reality. You picture them taking your phone right out of your hands, looking at the endless notifications from those toxic family members and demanding friends, turning the device off and telling you, "I will handle them from now on, you just rest." You envision a soft life, a life where your only daily task is to heal, to breathe, to recover your shattered nervous system, and to let someone else be the impenetrable shield between you and the harshness of the world. You want to regress just a little bit, do you not? You have had to be the responsible adult since you were a little child, taking care of your parents' emotions, taking care of your siblings' crises, taking care of your friends' disasters. And now, you just want to be the passenger. You want to sit quietly in the passenger seat of life, while this wealthy, powerful, capable partner drives you through a beautiful, scenic route where the very concept of struggle does not even exist. You imagine this massive wealth as a giant, soft pillow for your battered soul to finally rest upon. It is a beautiful thought. It is a deeply comforting fantasy. But I need you to wake up right now. Snap out of that romantic illusion immediately. Because if you enter into this divine union thinking it is a fairy tale, you are going to severely mismanage the greatest spiritual asset heaven has ever handed you. I am about to tell you the raw, unfiltered truth, and it might sting your romantic ideals, but it will absolutely save your destiny. God is not sending this wealthy soulmate to turn you into a pampered pet. He is not sending them so you can sit by a luxury pool, drink expensive coffee, and completely forget your divine calling. This is not a romance novel. This is not a Hallmark movie. This is a highly classified, spiritual military operation. Why do they have to be wealthy? Why could God not just send a kind, loving, emotionally available partner with a normal, average income? Because a normal income cannot execute an emergency extraction. You are not just tired, chosen one. You are being held hostage behind enemy lines. The city you currently live in, the physical house you reside in, the family system you are deeply tethered to, they have become a spiritual prison. Your current environment is entirely fueled by your energy and your financial sacrifice. You are the battery powering a matrix that is specifically designed to keep you small, depressed, drained, and compliant. God looked down at your life and saw his greatest general pinned down in the muddy trenches, running out of ammunition, surrounded by energy vampires who cleverly disguise themselves as loved ones. Heaven knew that if you stayed in that toxic environment for one more season, if you had to pay one more bill for someone who abuses your kindness, your anointing would be completely suffocated. You do not need a romantic candlelit dinner right now. You need a rescue chopper. The immense wealth this soulmate carries is not for buying designer clothes or funding luxury vacations to show off on the internet. That wealth is the extraction vehicle. It is the heavy tactical machinery required to completely sever your geographic and financial ties to the people and the places that are slowly killing you. When this person arrives, their resources will act as a massive pair of spiritual bolt cutters, violently snapping the chains of guilt and obligation that have kept you trapped in a zip code that no longer matches your destiny. God had to make them wealthy because your relocation requires massive earthly capital. You cannot fight a physical matrix with just good intentions. You need leverage. They are coming to fund your transition out of the wilderness and into your promised land. They are the divine financier of your spiritual escape route. This love will uplift you, yes, but more importantly, this wealth will physically relocate you. I want you to perform a profound mental action right now. Do not move your body, just turn your focus entirely inward and use the power of your spiritual imagination. Picture yourself standing in the middle of a barren, gray wasteland. The air is thick and hard to breathe. This wasteland represents your current draining environment, the toxic relationships, the dead-end routines, the endless financial anxiety. Now, hear the heavy, powerful thumping sound of helicopter blades descending from the sky above you. Feel the wind from the rotors pushing the gray fog away. That is the divine provision arriving. That is your wealthy soulmate entering your atmosphere. But to step onto that transport, you have to drop the heavy bags you are holding in your hands. You cannot bring your toxic attachments, your guilt, or your false sense of duty onto this flight. Mentally, open your hands right now. Drop those heavy bags, see them hit the dust. Comment, "I am ready for extraction," to officially notify the spiritual realm that you are dropping the baggage and you are willing to leave this wasteland behind forever. You have dropped the bags. You know the rescue is hovering right above you. Now you know this is a divine emergency extraction orchestrated by the Creator himself. But here is the terrifying reality. Why have you not been able to escape yet? Why has this wealthy soulmate not landed in your physical reality today? Because there is an invisible, neurological force binding your brain's frequency, making you completely invisible to this person. You are standing right in the drop zone, but your internal radio is broadcasting the wrong signal. If you do not break this invisible frequency barrier, this soulmate will fly right over your head, and they will pass right by you without ever even knowing you were there. Let us uncover exactly what this invisible frequency barrier is and why it is currently scrambling your spiritual coordinates. Right now, your brain is trapped in what neuroscience calls the beta brainwave state. Beta is the frequency of pure survival. It is the brainwave of stress, anxiety, hypervigilance, and logic. It is the frequency you emit when you are calculating how to pay a bill, when you are walking on eggshells around a toxic family member, or when you are trying to fix a crisis that you did not even create. You have been forced to live in this survival frequency for so long that your brain actually forgot how to turn it off. This is not an accident. The modern matrix we live in is intentionally designed to keep your brain locked in beta. The constant notifications, the financial pressure, the societal expectations, all of it is a soft conspiracy engineered to keep you in a state of low-grade panic. Why? Because a chosen one who is constantly panicked is a chosen one who cannot access their divine power. When your brain is stuck in beta, your spiritual aura actually shrinks. You stop broadcasting the magnetic, high-vibrating signal of your calling, and you start broadcasting the frantic, desperate signal of survival. And here is the spiritual law you must understand. A wealthy, highly resourced soulmate, operating on a frequency of abundance, cannot physically locate a spirit that is broadcasting on a frequency of panic. The signals simply do not match. This is exactly why God commands physical and environmental relocation for His chosen. We see this profound pattern in the book of Genesis, chapter 12, verse 1. The Lord said to Abram, "Go from your country, your people and your father's household, to the land I will show you." People read this and think it was just a geographical road trip. It was not. It was a frequency extraction. God did not ask Abram to leave his father's household just because the scenery was bad. He commanded him to leave because the environment of his father's house was steeped in idol worship and spiritual stagnation. That environment was constantly generating a low frequency that was interfering with Abram's divine DNA. God knew that as long as Abram stayed in that toxic, familiar environment, his brain and spirit would remain locked in a survival state, and he would never become the father of nations. Abram had to break the frequency barrier by severing the connection. But you are facing a modern dilemma that Abram did not have. You are dealing with an invisible matrix that assaults your mind 24 hours a day. The ancient mystics, the prophets, and the spiritual masters knew exactly how to break out of this beta survival trap. They knew how to access the God frequency. Science now calls this the theta and gamma brainwave states. Theta is the frequency of deep intuition, divine connection, and reality-bending creativity. Gamma is the frequency of the natural genius, the state of flow where the impossible becomes effortless. In ancient times, the prophets accessed these higher brainwaves by fasting in the wilderness for 40 days, by isolating themselves in caves for years, or through hours of grueling, silent meditation. They had to completely detach from society just to tune their minds to the frequency where heaven's voice and divine synchronicities are perfectly clear. But let us be completely honest with each other. You do not have 40 days to go sit in a desert cave. You have bills due on Friday. You have a family that drains you. You have an extraction waiting to happen right now. You cannot pause your entire life to go find enlightenment on a mountain. So how do you access the frequency of the ancient masters while surviving in the modern world? How do you switch your brain from the beta survival mode to the theta receiving mode so your wealthy soulmate can finally locate your signal? This is where divine revelation meets modern science. Researchers, including a former neuroscientist from NASA, have made a massive discovery. They found that 98% of children are naturally born operating in this genius state, accessing theta and gamma waves effortlessly. But as we grow up, as the matrix conditions us with stress and trauma, that ability shrinks. However, the most crucial part of this discovery is that your God-given genius state is not dead. It is simply dormant. It has just been turned off by the heavy armor of your daily survival. You do not need to work harder to get it back. You just need the right tool to wake it up. Science has developed a specific sound technology that uses brainwave entrainment to bypass the years of intense meditation. It literally guides your brain back into the theta and gamma frequencies using acoustic waves. I want you to perform a simple mental action right now. Close your eyes in your mind. Imagine a glowing radio dial inside the center of your chest. Right now, that dial is tuned to a station filled with static, noise, and fear. With your mental hand, gently turn that dial until the static fades away and a clear, warm, golden hum fills your entire body. You are tuning out of survival and tuning into provision. Comment "I tune" into the God frequency to mentally lock that dial in place. This is what happens when you use this sound technology. It is a simple 7-minute ritual called the Genius Wave. It does not require you to learn complicated meditation techniques or chant in a foreign language. It is incredibly easy because a chosen one does not need to struggle anymore. You simply sit in a quiet place, put on your headphones, and listen to this activation frequency for 7 minutes a day. When you do this, something miraculous happens. The acoustic waves gently coax your brain out of the panicked beta state and restore your natural theta and gamma waves. You are essentially doing a factory reset on your mind, returning it to the exact frequency the Creator designed you to operate on. And as your brain shifts into this God frequency, your spiritual beacon turns back on. You stop broadcasting the static of a survivor, and you start radiating the clear, undeniable signal of a sovereign being ready for extraction. This 7-minute ritual becomes the homing beacon that guides your wealthy soulmate directly to your coordinates. You now hold the knowledge and the technology to unlock the genius frequency. You are finally ready to broadcast the correct signal to the universe. But here is the terrifying part. When the massive resources from this person actually pour into your physical life, what must you do next? If you make the wrong move in that exact moment, you will accidentally transform yourself from a powerful chosen one into a dependent parasite. I am about to give you the exact step-by-step blueprint to manage this wealth without ever losing your crown. When this person actually steps into your reality and places their massive resources at your feet, your very first instinct is going to be absolute panic. Your trauma is going to scream that you are becoming a burden. You will feel an overwhelming, almost aggressive urge to reject the help, to insist on paying half the bills, to maintain your struggle just to prove your worth and maintain your independence. You will think that accepting their wealth makes you a gold digger or a dependent. You must kill that instinct immediately. That wealth is not a handout, it is a divine settlement. In the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 25, God makes a very specific promise. He says, "I will restore to you the years that the swarming locust has eaten." People read the word restore and they think it just means getting back to a normal baseline. But the original Hebrew word used in that ancient text is shalom. Shalom does not just mean to replace what was lost or broken. It is a highly specific legal and spiritual term for making someone completely whole, paying them back with heavy, compounding interest, and compensating them fully for the emotional damage of the theft. Think about your life up until this moment. The toxic people in your past, the narcissists who drained your empathy, the family members who used you as an emotional dumping ground, the employers who squeezed every ounce of your talent for pennies. They were the locusts. They ate your time. They ate your youth. They ate your peace of mind. They ate the financial resources you freely gave them when you were running on empty. This wealthy soulmate is the physical vehicle of your shalom. Their resources are your back pay from the universe. You are not a charity case receiving a donation. You are a spiritual creditor finally collecting the massive debt that is owed to your soul. I want you to perform a profound mental shift right now. Keep your body perfectly still, but in your mind, visualize yourself standing in a high, magnificent courtroom. The judge of the universe is handing you a massive golden ledger. That ledger contains every tear you cried in secret, every dollar you sacrificed for ungrateful people, and every sleepless night you endured trying to save everyone else. Watch the judge stamp the word paid across that ledger in glowing, brilliant light. Comment, "I accept my divine Shalom," to mentally sign that ledger and authorize the immediate transfer of this wealth into your reality. Now that you understand you are receiving divine restitution, you must know exactly how to manage this transition. If you mishandle the exit, you will sabotage the entire operation. This is the 3-step geographic severance protocol you must strictly follow the moment this relocation begins. The first step is the silent move. When this soulmate arrives and the plans to elevate your life and relocate you begin to solidify, you must wrap your intentions in absolute, impenetrable silence. Do not go back to your toxic family members, your draining friends, or your co-workers and announce that you are leaving. Do not explain the wealth of your new partner to people who only know how to take. Your survival brain will desperately want to announce it. You might want to brag just a little bit, or maybe seek their approval, secretly hoping they will finally be happy for you and validate your worth. Hear me clearly, they will not be happy. They will be utterly terrified of losing their primary energy source. You have been their battery for years. If you speak too soon, they will release a flood of toxic guilt, manipulation, and manufactured crises to ground your flight before it even takes off. You must mentally pack your bags in the dark. You must execute your exit in total secrecy and let your absence be the only announcement they get. The second step is the daily frequency alignment. This is the exact point where most chosen ones fail and ruin their own blessings. When you finally move into a peaceful environment, when the bills are suddenly paid and there is no immediate crisis to fight, your nervous system is going to go into severe shock. You have been addicted to the chaos of the matrix for so long that absolute peace will actually feel like a threat to your survival. You will start looking for problems that do not exist. You will unconsciously try to pick fights or sabotage the relationship just to feel the familiar, comforting rush of adrenaline and stress. This is exactly why you must aggressively maintain your brain's receiving mode. Every single morning before you look at your phone, before you speak to anyone, you must engage in that 7-minute audio ritual we discussed earlier. You must use that specific sound technology to stabilize your theta and gamma frequencies. You have to actively command your brain to accept the peace. By listening to that frequency, you are telling your nervous system that the war is officially over, that the environment is safe, and that the shalom is secure. If you skip this alignment, if you allow your brain to slip back into the beta survival frequency, your own mind will drag you right back to the trenches, and you will destroy the very sanctuary God built for you. The third step of the protocol is the absolute boundary line. A rescue helicopter has a strict, non-negotiable weight limit. You cannot bring your parasites onto the aircraft. When you step into this new life, when you relocate to your new environment, you cannot bring the financial burdens of your toxic family system into your new sanctuary. You cannot use your soulmate's massive wealth to continue funding the dysfunction, the bad choices, and the laziness of the people you left behind. If you start funneling this new provision back into the dead soil of your past, you are not relocating. You are just expanding the territory of your abusers. You must draw a harsh, unforgiving, energetic line in the sand. Your extraction is for you, and you alone. You have to let them learn how to survive without your light. You have the strategy. You are ready to step onto this extraction flight. But remember, the enemy never lets a hostage escape easily. Right when you prepare to leave, they will unleash 3 of the most vicious psychological attacks you have ever faced. And the first one will come from the very people who share your bloodline. The enemy knows exactly where you are going, and they are terrified of the authority you will possess once you are relocated. They will not stand by and watch you board your extraction flight without a fight. Right as you begin to pack your bags and align your frequency, the Matrix will trigger 3 specific, high-intensity psychological attacks designed to paralyze your will and keep you tethered to the ground. The first attack is the manipulator's tears. This usually comes from a parent, a sibling, or a partner who has spent years feeding off your energy. Suddenly, as they sense your spirit drifting away, they will become uncharacteristically vulnerable. They will cry. They will tell you how much they need you. They will develop mysterious illnesses or face sudden dramatic crises that only you can solve. This is not love. It is a leash. They are trying to use your divine compassion as a weapon against your divine destiny. The second attack is the trap of false duty. You will hear a loud, demanding voice in your mind or from those around you saying, "How can you leave when there is so much work to be done here? You are the only one who keeps this family together. If you go, everything will fall apart and it will be your fault." This is a strategic lie. You were never meant to be their savior. You were meant to be their example. By staying, you are not helping them grow. You are merely enabling their stagnation while sacrificing your own calling. The third attack is the traitor's guilt. The enemy will whisper that you are being selfish, that you are selling your soul for money, and that you are abandoning the people who were there for you when you had nothing. They want you to feel a deep, burning shame for finally accepting the shalom that God has legally granted you. They want you to believe that poverty is a sign of holiness and that accepting this wealthy soulmate is an act of betrayal against your roots. What happens if you fall for these attacks? What happens if you allow your heart to be manipulated back into the trenches? Let me tell you the story of a chosen one who stood exactly where you are standing right now. I will call her Sarah. Sarah spent 15 years as the primary breadwinner and emotional therapist for her entire extended family. She was exhausted, drained, and praying for a way out. God heard her. He sent a man into her life who was not only deeply spiritual but possessed immense wealth and a clear mission to relocate her to a sanctuary where she could finally focus on her ministry. The extraction was ready, the helicopter was hovering. But the moment Sarah told her family she was moving, the sirens of manipulation went off. Her mother fell into a deep, staged depression. Her brothers suddenly lost their jobs. They looked her in the eyes and said, "You are just leaving us to go live a luxury life while we suffer here. You are not the person we thought you were." Sarah buckled. She felt the heavy weight of false duty and traitor's guilt. She looked at her soulmate and said, "I cannot leave them yet. They need me too much. You have to wait." But a divine extraction is a time-sensitive operation. You cannot hold a rescue chopper in a war zone forever. The soulmate waited, but Sarah kept funneling the resources he gave her back into the black hole of her family's bad decisions. Eventually, the frequency mismatch became too great. The soulmate had to leave to protect his own anointing. Today, Sarah is still in that same grey wasteland, older, more bitter, and still paying the bills for people who still do not respect her. She pushed away her shalom because she was more afraid of being called selfish than she was of missing her destiny. I want you to perform a powerful mental severance right now. Do not move your body, but in your mind, see those three attacks, the tears, the duty, and the guilt, as three thick, slimy black ropes tied around your waist, anchoring you to the mud. Now, imagine a sword of pure, white light appearing in your hand. This is the sword of discernment. With one swift motion, mentally cut through all three ropes. See them fall away and shrivel into nothing. You are not responsible for the choices of grown adults. You are only responsible for your obedience to the Creator. Comment I sever the cords of guilt to finalize this mental release in the spiritual realm. You have cut the cords. You have survived the first wave of the confrontation. You are ready to meet your counterpart. But stay highly alert. The enemy is far more cunning than you realize. When they see that they cannot hold you back with guilt, they will try their most deceptive tactic yet. They will send a counterfeit. They will send a person who looks, speaks, and acts exactly like the wealthy soulmate you have been praying for. But they are actually a highly sophisticated trap designed to lead you into a different kind of prison. There is one single physiological sign, one ultimate test to unmask this pretender the very first time you meet them, and if you do not know what it is, you will walk straight into the jaws of a wolf. The enemy is a master of imitation. Because they cannot stop the decree of heaven, they will try to hijack it. They will send a counterfeit person who appears to have the wealth, the charisma, and the interest in you that you have been praying for. This is a highly sophisticated trap designed to lead you into a gilded cage where your anointing will be bought and silenced. How do you unmask this pretender before you give them your heart or your coordinates? You must stop listening to their words and start listening to your own nervous system. When you are with a counterfeit, you will feel a rush of intense, addictive euphoria. Your heart will race, your stomach will flip, and you will feel a desperate, anxious need to impress them. This is not love. This is a trauma bond disguised as chemistry. Your body is detecting a predator and is firing off adrenaline. But when you meet the wealthy soulmate dispatched by God, the reaction is the exact opposite. You will feel a peace so profound it almost feels like emptiness. Your heart will be steady. Your breathing will be deep. You will feel a strange, quiet sense of being home, as if the war in your mind has suddenly declared a ceasefire. There is no urgency to perform. There is only a deep, silent recognition. One frequency brings noise and excitement, the other brings silence and rest. Listen to the story of another chosen one named David. For years, David worked 3 jobs to support a family that ridiculed his spiritual path. He felt the extraction coming. He used the sound technology to align his brain waves every morning. When his wealthy counterpart arrived, it was not at a flashy event. It was a simple, quiet encounter. There were no fireworks, only a deep sense of relief. David followed the geographic severance protocol. He moved his ministry to another state, funded by the resources God provided through this partner. Today, he no longer spends his days fighting for survival. He spends his days in the frequency of genius, creating impact that reaches thousands, while his soulmate handles the earthly logistics. This is what Shalom looks like when you pass the test of discernment. But as you stand at the threshold of this transition, you must face the final exam. Right now, you might be experiencing the most brutal financial drought of your entire life. You are staring at an empty bank account, facing unexpected expenses, and feeling like the universe has completely forgotten the promise. You are tempted to think that the extraction has been cancelled. This is not a sign of failure. It is the sign of the transition. In the spiritual realm, the darkest hour is always the one just before the sun breaks the horizon. The Creator is stripping away your last remaining ties to the old system of struggle. He is checking to see if you will still broadcast the frequency of a king, even when your pockets are empty. He is testing your ability to stay in theta receiving mode while the beta world is screaming in panic. I want you to perform a final mental activation right now. Do not move your body, but in your mind, imagine yourself standing at the edge of a vast, deep canyon. Behind you is the gray wasteland of your past. In front of you, on the other side, is a land of brilliant golden light and lush green forests. There is no bridge. You cannot walk across. Now, hear a powerful voice like thunder echoing from the clouds above you. The voice says one word: Kumi. In ancient Hebrew, Kumi is not a polite request. It is a military command to arise and stand at attention. It is the command that awakens the dead. Mentally, in your inner vision, see yourself standing up straight. Feel your spine align with the light from above. See a bridge of pure energy forming beneath your feet with every step of faith you take. Comment, I arise and shine to seal this military command in your spirit. The drought is not your end, it is your departure gate. Everything you have learned, every framework I have given you, and every weapon of discernment you now hold has led you to this exact second. The theory is over. The weapons have been issued. The window for your extraction is open right now. It is time to close this spiritual seal. Adjust your posture in your mind right now, because the next 5 minutes will be a formal activation ceremony that will permanently alter the trajectory of your destiny. The time for teaching has passed. The weapons have been issued. The helicopter is hovering. Now, we enter the sanctuary of activation. I want you to perform a powerful internal shift right now. Whether you are lying down or driving, do not move your physical body. Instead, in your mind, imagine yourself stepping into a large, circular room made of pure, white light. This is the command center of your destiny. Everything outside this room, the bills, the toxic family, the gray wasteland, it has no authority here. Mentally, I want you to see yourself standing in the center of this room, facing the sun that is rising on the horizon. This is not just a prayer. This is the formal sealing of your extraction. Creator of all things, Father of the chosen, we stand before your throne in this precise, divine moment. We acknowledge that the atmospheric pressure is changing right now. The old system of struggle is being dismantled. The matrix is losing its grip. We declare that the authority of the strong one is officially retired. I speak directly to the soul listening to my voice. I honor the years you spent as the shock absorber for your bloodline. I acknowledge every tear you cried in your car when you thought no one was watching. I honor the silent exhaustion of being a paramedic in a war zone you did not start. Your faithfulness in the trenches has been recorded in the courts of heaven. Right now, in the name of the Most High, I seal the geographic severance protocol into your spirit. I seal the silent move. From this second forward, a divine cloak of invisibility is placed over your plans. The manipulators, the energy vampires, and the locusts will no longer be able to track your signal or sabotage your flight. I seal the absolute boundary line. You are granted the spiritual permission to leave the baggage behind without guilt. I seal the shalom mindset within your consciousness. You are no longer a charity case. You are a creditor collecting your divine back pay. I command your brain waves to move out of the panicked beta frequency and into the sovereign theta state of receiving. I seal the activation frequency into your daily ritual. As you explore this sound technology and engage in your 7-minute activation every morning, I decree that your mind will become an unshakable fortress of peace that the matrix cannot penetrate. I bind every spirit of guilt, every manipulator's tear, and every counterfeit rescue that has been assigned to block your path. I command the false duty to shatter and fall into the dust. You are officially released from the debts of your ancestors. I declare that within this coming season, your wealthy soulmate will land in your physical reality with the precision of a military strike. They are carrying the earthly capital for your relocation. They are carrying the resources for your elevation. I decree that your eyes are now opened to discern the steady peace of the true soulmate from the anxious euphoria of the counterfeit. The extraction has begun. The bridge is formed. Heaven is asking you right now, chosen one, will you walk across? Are you ready to let someone else protect you? In your mind, with all the authority of your calling, say the word yes out loud. I hear you. Heaven hears you. The signal is locked. As you go about your day, do not look back at the wasteland. Do not check the gray fog for approval. The extraction orders have been signed in blood and sealed in light. You are no longer a survivor. You are a sovereign being in transit to your promised land. Go in this strength, Kumi. Arise, stand at attention. Your new life is not coming, it is here.